Hey, Luke. What's up? Dancing pogs. Dude, I love the dancing pogs. They're actually really, really cool. Also for Luigi. Haven't had time to actually go by and get some new sound clips, so unfortunately it's different. But at least I think I should have fixed my sound alerts by now, which I'm gonna fix up right now. Oh, I thank you, Luigi, again for the bits. And again, it's fine if you're a little busy right now. That's totally fine. Gonna get sound alerts should be working-ish. I'm gonna enable the sound alerts for at least the point costs. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. Currently just fixing up the sound alerts because the way I have to fix it up is just so handed way to do it. It's ridiculous. In the meantime, as I get stuff situated. Oh yeah, I also want to get my fan on because this room gets really hot. Whew. Alrighty. Alright. Well, anyway, I wanted to at least finish up this case where we finish up Soseki's case 4. No, yeah, no, I see what dropped. Okay. Soseki's case is gonna be at least attempted to be finished within the next 2-ish hours. Hopefully then we can move on to something else. Alright, let's see. So last case shoot, what happened last time? Okay, I don't remember. I just played this yesterday and I don't remember what happened at the end. I'm blanking on stuff right now. Oh, right. We decided that there was a possible with the fire, but then everyone decided unanimously that it's guilty. And now we're at another summation examination. Oh boy, here we go. Oh boy. How are these guys gonna be faring? I don't know.
I have considered the defense's counsel's request for a further summation examination of the jury, and I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to this procedure. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman?
We are, my lord.
I don't even know what voice I gave him.
Very good. In that case, I must ask you, each of you now, to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime.
So the fact that I get another summation examination is probably because it's probably going to be happening a third time in the last case, is what I assume.
The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Okay, so she's the one who can reconsider again. Even if a woman was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime if the window was closed, can it? Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit.
Look! Look! I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring some home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble.
Oh, come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. Well, I figured that there's a couple people I'm going to definitely push.
Yes. Considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury. This time around, it seems.
Technically speaking, yes, it's more tangible arguments. The guy who wants to leave as soon as possible is still wanting to leave as soon as possible. He does not care about what happens to Soseki or like a human life.
With one notable exception, of course.
My lone student friend was unable to find a fault in the previous witness's testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, we should stop doing that. I'm getting tired of your shenanigans, Van Zykes. No one else was even at the scene to commit the crime.
Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way.
That means, I'm afraid, that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? What would be? I don't know. Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was thinking this might be hard. I think they said that. Did I read that wrong? And there I was thinking this might be... Oh yeah. But Mr. Naruhodo, you can do it. You have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends. Ugh. No pressure then.
That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel.
Oh, yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke. Focus your mind now. Clearly, the key to the summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid, or should I say Mrs. Garadeb. We have a book that disappeared from the Garadeb's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Basically, bullcrap your way through. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garadeb and how she reacts, even to the things other people say. So we're going with this now. Oh, hey, the witnesses are over there. Here we go.
Hold it!
All right, let's see. Ven's the landlord. Oh, say point. Let's see, enjoying the fiery wife or something. Fiery wife. Wait. Anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. Why do you have to also look to the side also all the time? I swear, when we prove you actually made a mistake, you're gonna have to apologize down on your knees. I'm gonna make you do that. Mr. Banker. Very mom, metropolitan, rational woman. I'm confused where she's going with. So you're just still basing on assumption that he's overwhelmingly guilty. It's not full on rational. Let's see. Okay. One of these people is gonna make juror number 4 irk, and it's not her statement. Oop. Even if the Londoners has a cold winter, there's some people who actually open windows. Heck, I opened windows during like a cold winter because my room gets freaking 80 degrees. But then again, I don't know London winters. Flames of love. Also, why you keep hitting him? Bad thing, yep. She still kind of hit him over and over. Relentless. He's almost used to it. What a gentle soul. Oh, I miss his wife is probably about the same. Also, hi James.
Hello.
I am back on this case. Try to finish this up. Yeah, still. I don't quite remember. Helpful. Okay, wait, so... Let's see. Bless you. So I have to bring up his memory somehow.
Hold it.
Wait a minute. 75 candles on top of it. Wow, he's 75 years old. Was that some kind of devil's worship? Oh, okay, so Japan at the time didn't really put candles on the cakes. Definitely sounded devil worship.
You have to blow on a candle pretty hard to reject it from a cake.
True, yeah. Oh, they had to open the windows. So yeah, now he has to open up a window in order to take out all the fog, which is what the fire did. We proved that. Annyeong, Skull. Good evening. How you doing? I have an idea. So he says, yeah, it's the window of clean clothes versus a house on fire. These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. Did that sound alert play?
Wait, why are there jurors giving testimony?
So in this game, basically, did that sound alert play? It should have played. I didn't hear it. Oh, okay. So basically, a judging of one man's guilt to innocence is all dependent on 6 jurors.
Mm-hmm.
And if all of them choose guilty on a very like old law and a last minute ditch effort, basically each member of the juror has to give their reason why they consider the man guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And so because we can consider them whatever their reasonings, we can now pit the two together and see if there's any contradictions to reasonings.
What does their personal involvement have to do with them being a juror?
Oh, their personal involvement. These are like random people, so they don't have any personal involvement with the case. Except one of them actually.
But what's his birthday have to do with any of this?
It's because that his statement was basically like he had also a fire in his home.
Mhm.
So because he blew out so many candles, it caused the fire. But they had to open the window in order to let out the smoke. What this guy was saying is that he can't believe that there's any reason for anybody to open a window even if there was a fire. Now we have a reason to at least have someone open a window even the coldest of night. Also, I hope that sound alert played. Also, I'm doing decently well. Had a decent rest today, Skull. I hope you and Crit are doing well. If I finish up this case, I might do some Mario Kart, but that's still dependent on some people joining us. Random according to the game. Nodders, yes. This is supposed to be random, but apparently they magically picked some people that can be really credible to this case.
They do? How exactly, Counsel?
Don't point at me again! I told you it wasn't me! Yeah? What did you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Juror number 3, do you see? Oh, me? CC, what's Craig's dead. I killed him. Nah, JK, he's eating. Is he eating cereal, Skull? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Oh yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Oh! Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Gerdeb household, and Mr. Gerdeb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke. Oh, my heart!
A lot of tea, one. It's a concerning amount of tea.
If I just let her play, that's like infinite amount of teeth. Woman, you're gonna go to the bathroom soon.
That is straight witchcraft.
Is that thing just filling? So every time she drinks the tea, that thing just refills up with a missing amount of tea. So she's basically not even drinking it. Yes, I could pursue, but I kind of want to hear his dialogue personally. Therefore, to clear smoke, Mr. Garadeb or his wife most certainly opened the window. That you cannot deny would be no way out of the ordinary. I'm eating a salad. So wait, are you eating celebi? Surprisingly, no. He ate it all. He's eating a salad. Wow. Crate, I did not know you like to eat celebes, because they are lettuces.
I thought they were onions.
Onions, lettuce, snails.
What?
This was all on a Carl stream where someone confused a celebi with a snail and like other things. I forget. We are eating celebi. Oof. I hope Carl's okay.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my what?
Oh my wa shinderu. That you cannot deny. There's no way out of order. No, I suppose it wouldn't. When you get to my age, you learn a thing or two, you know. And I can tell you, you'd have to be a prize idiot not to open the window if there is a fire, eh?
It's really a terrible idea.
Yeah, it would be, especially in like a closed apartment space. Like, not opening anything to let out the smoke is actually a very bad idea.
No, you don't want to introduce fresh oxygen. Like, you don't want to introduce a lot of air to a fire. It'll just exacerbate the situation.
That's true. Kraid
You
says they are good.
Basically, you just get the hell out.
As fast as you can, if you can. But the guy is in a wheelchair in a sense. He's kind of crippled. Kraid says they are good. Oh, Fento, no, he not okay. He died. You didn't see his general chat? I'm Fanto now. I mean, you're Fanto for the day, is what you said. Hold on, wait. I'm gonna add Carl. Oh, yes, of course. I think I need to reconsider my statement. Yes, please do. That's a step in the right direction, I think. Direction. So, yeah, now I have to go back to pressing that because I just wanted to see the dialogue. So, does that mean that if I press one of these, did you change your statement before? His original form, transcending his original form. It's unlit candles. It's safer this year. Ha. All right, so then I have to go back and pressing him. The fact that she has a teapot ready just to drink really showcases how much she is prepared to just be so stressed out.
Oh my. Excuse me.
Excuse me? Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Geradeb. Don't tell me! What's the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I am hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense. Pretense now. Bleh, pretense. What is that? What is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating? The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. You know, I just realized, I just thought of something. This game was in Japanese first. This game makes more sense translated English, because if it was like Japanese only, everyone would be speaking Japanese, and that's not how Great Britain was. Ah. I just had a random thought right now. I don't know. Everyone magically speaks the universal language of English or Japanese or Spanish or whatever this game or whatever something is translated to. They speak a universal language. Also, I skipped his dialogue. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering. Even though your house was on fire? Oh, you'll never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
This woman is insane.
Yeah, this woman is very insane. I am surprised that they are still married. Of course, I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You managed to establish the window was open. We simply must have added to Mrs. Garradeb's formal statement. I'd forgotten, but this is true. So the fourth book, okay. I like how this juror is now supposed to be someone random, and yet they pick someone literally now involved in the incident. Lion's Pride that he had been reading. Okay, so she did throw that book. her straight at him. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. I didn't remember. Wow, she's having excuses just to throw a tantrum.
Oh boy.
This guy's face is interesting. So I want to smash his face. Okay, so basically her outburst led to his remembering something. I was preoccupied. Oh, I noticed. It was pretty obvious. If you don't notice that, you must be pretty blind and deaf to the whole game. Alright, let's fast forward. I wonder what story mode is like. Does it actually just play every single scene normally and then just like go straight to eat the right spots immediately? Probably.
Boy. Excuse me.
What is it, juror number 5?
You know something? I don't remember what it was. That memory I blocked out. It was listening to what this granny was saying, but brought it all flooding back.
Who you cunning granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Miss Garradeb, or maid, I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's used to being hit all the time. I'm pretty sure that's implied.
It was about 2 weeks ago. Now, I'd just got back from back home after work. Like, I put my hand in my pocket and for the wages I just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole, every last penny that I had dropped out.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
You haven't heard the half of it, boy.
Oh?
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time.
Chicken.
I'd hardly get the words out, but I told her straight I'd lost the day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear. Stuck the wall next to me. It did, about an inch deep.
That's very dangerous, you know. No words, just terror.
I could smell it, you know, that god-awful stench of the dames. I was sure I was gonna end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. No, that's a real disaster, isn't it?
I'll never use that word lightly again.
Anyway, the point is what I'm trying to make is this. When a woman lose their rag, they throw everything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Sato, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. Well, there are a lot of them, so far, it hasn't proven not. Especially since that you were quick to judge in the second case. I'm not forgetting what you were like in the second case, Susato. I'm gonna let you live that down till the day I die. Bless you. No, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects at people as well, it is so uncivilized. So uncivilized. Are you Obi-Wan? At least attack with honor, using a bow or the like. Jesus! What? Attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. Alright, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later, if I dare. I don't think you want to.
Hold it!
Really? Your wife really threw a kitchen knife. That's really dangerous in a lot of ways. Could have been a meat cleaver. What is she, like Alyssa? Cup, glass, a pot, a kettle, chair, wardrobe, a cooker, a bathtub? Ouch, my ear. That's a very interesting theory. Your statement just sounds like an extreme antidote. Whoops, I didn't well, I have to go through this again. Mash the buttons. Alright, so wait, it cannot be that. Please tell me no, it is not that. If it is that, what I think it is, I think I just solved this case. So, just to give you up to speed, James, what I'm thinking. So I already looked at the knife, by the way.
What you got there?
I got a
A
knife.
knife!
I got a knife. I got a knife. Well, Justin, here's the thing. No one was murdered. She's clearly still alive. There was attempted murder. Well, here's the thing, James. This knife, apparently, is not lethal. At least not lethal enough. Because, by the looks of it, the tip at the end of the knife is actually broken. So... Oh, are you saying it's Irie? Irie is evil because you did Irie evil. Oh, well, let's go with this again.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection somehow.
Good grief. You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, counsel, at once.
Jury number 2, do you think perhaps that this could be such novel alternative? Oh ma, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Pride, that was found at the scene of the crime, originated in Mr. Garadeb's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garadeb household to the street below.
What's that now?
After all, Mrs. Garadeb could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating, you little beanpole? I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of this book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling this might be what happened.
Now listen here, you Eastern Gala. As a foreman of this jury, I demand a straight answer. There. You gave us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what was it?
I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least, it warrants further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman. I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Garadeb household to the scene of the crime was... Look at my armband! Or whatever Carl says.
Take that.
Juror number 4, Mrs. Garadeb. What? What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Good lord, counsel. What on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged in the victim's back, man.
My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Garadeb was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke and through which a book sailed to the land at the scene of the crime.
You can't seriously believe that the book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out the window across the street and landed neatly in her hand?
Even my mood, Mrs. hasn't got an aim like that.
Yes, I admit, there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why. We must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Mrs. Garadeb, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Well, can't do the habit. Thud.
She died?
Yeah, she died.
Oh.
Basically, I committed murder. GG's, guys. I committed murder.
Yes, you're going to jail.
My lord, I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word, after all. Thank you, madame.
Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but...
Oh, he's actually willing to work with me.
I just don't think it would be right to try for this trial to come to an end with so many unanswered questions.
Mr. Foreman.
I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it, Mond.
Yes, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this moment either.
All together now, ladies and gents.
And the old man is just sitting there. It's like, what? Baddies and bins?
There are giant torches in the courtroom.
It's a cool way to do a judicial thing, but man, that is so bad in a lot of ways. It caused actual files. We did it.
Someone would have to open a window.
Someone would have to open a window, especially with a wine being thrown, all that. Congratulations, Mr. Naruto.
So, as a result of the defense's submission examination, the number of jurors leaning to have changed. 2 jurors call guilty against 4 now calling innocent.
Guilty. Oh, Skull is actually calling guilty.
According to the opinion of this court is divided, and the trial will continue.
Skull is calling guilty. Still, please tell me this is not how the trial is gonna be.
Now then, Lord Van Sykes, how does the prosecutor wish to proceed?
This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. Would you stop wasting that? But what follows is repugnant. It's good for nothing, save for the gut.
If I may, Lord Van Sykes, the defense has put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened.
Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond, but let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? What's this angle this time? It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene and the Gerardep household runs a rather wide street, Brio Road. Which means that the distance from Gerardep's house to the scene of crime is some, yes, 15 yards. Still good enough to throw a knife. Let me see. 15 yards. That would be about 14 meters. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I imagined. I don't know how big that is. Imagining a yardstick. 15 yardsticks. That's a really wide street. And as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightly noted as having portentous significance, the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly hurled by the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. There's nothing I can say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Mrs. Sato, serialized detective stories are pathetic, aren't they? How dare he? Bless you. Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
As a judicial assistant, you may speak for defense. Yes, go ahead.
The prosecutor may consider the idea as a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade a juror to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, Juror number 4, Mrs. Joanne Garadeb, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination.
Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror?
Well, she is kind of involved with this case now.
Order, order, order. Take 2 number 9s. Number 9 large.
What does smoke have to do?
Oh, I brought in a meme that isn't related to this case in any way.
Well, this is highly irregular. It's unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection.
And someone else is getting a hospital bill. And unnecessary.
Lord Van Sykes.
There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's farcical theory has any truth in it, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly.
What say your witnesses?
I feel like Raleigh would not have seen it properly.
Yes, sir. Constable Rory Beat reporting for duty, sir.
Well, good morning, officer.
Sorry for dozing until now, sir.
I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat. Holy Jesus. You not sleeping for a month is basically... Actually, literally will start degrading your system. Oh, no, I didn't think it was over, Justin. But Jesus, this guy did not sleep for a whole month. That was him, Raleigh Beat. Well, he rawly beat me to it. Where's Kyle when I need him?
Oh, they are so heroic, these London hop bobbies. Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more.
Good joke. Thanks, Justin.
Oh, Rolly, my hero, you make me swoon.
Very well, I hereby reject their defense's request
Oh,
and order the witnesses to stand to testify again. State for worth before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events.
yes, sir. This case has nothing to do with Mr. Garadeb and Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb. Believe me, a London Bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Garadeb's house are top-hinged casements. Obviously, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it. I did leave the scene to go fetch help, but my trusty Rolly was there to make sure nothing was disturbed. I didn't take my eye off the scene of crime for one moment. Sir, nothing strange to report in the front, sir.
You didn't have a month of sleep.
Well, this is quite a startling top hinge casement windows.
That detail was not in the police report, Constable. Oh, yes, sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy. You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable. No, sir. Sorry, but what exactly are a top hinged casement window? And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. You can't also be so ignorant against people who are trying to learn your culture, my ignorant racist friend. Of course, sorry. I found it, Mr. Naruto. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. Garudeb and Mrs. Garudeb's house. The room. Alright, I'll try. Oh, don't you have to do that, it's easy. Got a picture now. So the window opens in order to allow air to circulate inside the house. But as its top hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see. I'm glad you rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature is its stay and a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain point. Prevents it from opening? This is all news to me. Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if a book or a knife were to have been thrown through the open window, it would have been clattered against the pane and fallen straight to the pavement below. No. You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete. There was never any possibility of either the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already. That can't be. Did you see that, Raleigh? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony. Oh, yes, my darling. I saw it. I saw how he crumpled before me. You guys are sadistic. Oh, Raleigh, you're so strong. How is this happening? I haven't even started a cross-examination yet, and our argument's been destroyed.
Counsel, if you could drag yourself upright again, the court awaits for your cross-examination.
My lord, no good. Another desperate situation. Here we go again. All right.
Hold it!
What you got? He did show us, Ryunosuke. Now you're the one who's not paying attention. I feel like that is going to be important, so give me it. You guys have to be so lovey-dovey in front of the court. All right. Just one thing. Our guiding principles. Okay. It's a good thing. Yeah, that's what I wanted. All right, what we got on the book? Policemen will strive to peace within the allotted. All right. Any crime fall under the jurisdiction of the beat in which they're discovered. Hmm. Hmm. I have a theory on this, and it's specifically these two items. Because it says it falls under the jurisdiction on the beat which they are discovered, and the policeman must assist the initial investigation and help detectives. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think he ever helped to begin with. Also, I'm just wondering, what is a beat in terms of a section? Is it like the whole street? Or is it just half of a street? That's what I'm trying to figure out too, which we'll probably figure out in soon.
Hold it!
Yep, in the meantime, let's continue on. So there is a way to open those windows all the way, I'm pretty sure. Justin be like, I hear theory making. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, my theory might hold a lot of water in that regard. The only question is, how do I prove it? That is the only problem right now. But I'm thinking about it. There's a lot of thinking about it that can hold as an actual theory. Problem is though, I don't get it. I don't get how all that. Because I need evidence. Let me look at this again. Various members of the question were called about the case. So you see, I helped the investigation yesterday. After this, we're all overworked, even though it wasn't under the jurisdiction of my own beat. So you wanted to help. Okay. I got you. So let's see. And it was dark. Obviously, I know she had something to say, but I also wanted to see her dialogue. It's always nice to see some more dialogue, because I do like the writing in the Ace Attorney games. Good thing I had skipping the one so I can actually read it as fast as I can. You know what's saying like with like a star, seeing a star in the sky? It sucks because living in Washington, you can't even see the stars that often. Because it's always freaking cloudy here. I remember times where it's just like, oh, there's a meteor shower gonna be happening tonight. Oh, wait, there's a freaking cloudy sky up in the sky. And I remember staying up like, waking up at like 4 a.m., 2 a.m. or staying up till then and just like trying to look at those like starry night skies. And it's just like, nope, no meteor storm is happening because I got clouds in the sky. So this wasn't his beat, is what I'm getting at right now. So according to that, it falls under this jurisdiction. Which policeman then? Because it wasn't his beat. Something about his statements are just not fitting right. I was gone for about 15 minutes. 15 minutes, eh? 15 minutes, eh?
Hold it!
Something about 15 minutes is weird. Even if that was possible, why would the victim be gripping a brick in a hand? Yeah, how did I knife ended up in the back? I do have a theory, but we still need to find the results. Otherwise, the Skull's guilty verdict is gonna be true. Alright, which one was it? Oh, it's the second one. Got it.
Hold it!
So you reacted to something. What was it that you reacted to? God, I can't skip these cutscenes.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry. You look, well, delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? Oh, I was just remembering, that's all. You really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Lucky Star? God, I don't even know anyone that knows that anime. Well, of course. I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. but we were just so lucky that it didn't happen on Rolly's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh yes, that street Briar Road, that's the boundary between the Rolly's beat and the next one.
What are you doing?
She just... Her statement. Her statement. Oh yes, that street, Briar Road. That's the boundary between Rolly's beat and the next one. That is a connection. Except this game is gonna prevent me from not even doing anything from it for a while. Oh. Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat. Yes, I'm pizza. Oh, yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interfering with the occupants of Gerardep household yesterday. Their house is on my bit, you say, sir. That really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Gerardep household is on your beat, does that mean the pavement next to it is as well? Outside Mr. Gerardep's house? Yes, Mom. The pavement on the side of the road is on my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Just think, if the woman had been just attacked just on the other side of Briarwood, we would have never been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. I know this is a game. What some people really need to learn to shut up. Because the more you say in a court, the more likely chance, you know, that can be used against you. How fortunate for them. Yes, how very fortunate that it didn't happen on his beat. And they got to do their wedding anniversary. God, that's so lucky. But that's the life of a Bobby after all.
Extraordinary people, our Barbies, tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners.
Do you know what I think? I think it was the good Lord's way of rewarding Roll for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it. I think perhaps we should make sure we have information officially on record. Leave it to me, Miss Naruto. I'll take care of it immediately. Alrighty then. Can I ask you something, please, Mr. Larissa? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I wasn't really. I mean, what is she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might be just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word. I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that I doubted you. Cause I'm a woman. As what whatever Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged said. Oh yeah, by the way, speaking of Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, I just recently was watching a episode of it, of a clip show, and I finally got the joke of not. I mean, I got the joke, but I got like the full-on joke of how in Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, Joy was calling people and calling about his top percentage of Rattata. I thought they were just making a reference to Pokemon, but no, it was straight up a Joey calling a Pokemon trainer about his top percentage of Rattata, and I finally put the two and two together. Just like, god dang it, I didn't even think about Joey being named Joey. Pretty sure it was like a Joey trainer. Or am I wrong? Now it starts with a Joe. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. Well, she's tugging him again. My voice will be heard. My lord, you'll let me speak, won't you? Well, Skull and Luigi, she's abusing her husband again.
Yes, Mrs. Pete. I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage one.
That was a very loud mutter.
I heard that. Japanese man thinks the police wife word counts for nothing, does he? Well, watch out, I might let you get away with something like that, but Ma really won't.
Duly noted, Mrs. Beat, but please, I humbly ask you to continue.
What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder?
Alright, let me just look at the case file really quickly. So it's just like on the east side, that's what it is. Pavement on the east side.
Hold it!
And you know what I didn't see as well? Also, again, pulling on his scarf. I got the wrong church, Jesus. She got married, almost married to a person. Is it ever possible, like, to technically get married to someone completely, like, you don't even know what they look like a complete mystery? Is it even possible? I assume it is theoretically possible, technically.
Excuse me.
Constable Beat, is there a problem?
Huh? No, sir. No problem, sir.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something in to mind, perhaps?
Well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all.
You mean Mrs. Beat lost her way on the night of the incident?
Well, you see, I sent her off the police box in the next beat over for Man, but she was gone a fair bit longer than what I was expecting. I thought she'd be back inside 10 minutes, but my darling was gone a good 15. Oh, really? You're such a tease. But the reason I was taking so long was because of the bouquet, silly. The bouquet.
Sorry, what bouquet are you talking about?
Oh, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Really so romantic. I saved it up for it with the fart things and hot pennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds.
I mean, he's a good husband because he's working hard, I would say. Oh, yes, how romantic.
I'd forgotten all about it till just now. Had you, my darling? Ah! Huh? Oh, yes. But that was just between us.
No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to Really? Oh. What was that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruto, but I'm quite sure one thing. We have to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned, I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? Oh, yes, I'd love to.
Hold it!
What about the bouquet? Shocked drop bouquet Raleigh gave me. Please black reported to policeman when the beat was on. Was when I picked it up. It was nowhere near the victim body, huh? Oh. See, I was gonna do someone else, but okay. Well, this is showcasing to be slightly different story, I see. I was all flustered for the moment, but I heard the voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably. That's alright. Silly me, I'd gone over the wrong side of the street. Although, I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. I can't think how it got there, I really can't. The bouquet somehow moved from one side of Briar Road to the opposite.
Curious indeed.
Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick up the bouquet up again, and when we left the crime scene, the beautiful rose Raleigh gave me with that change from the gutter he spent so long collecting. By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this sorry, solitary rose? Skull, guilty. Guilty! Well, Skull, who do you are pronouncing guilty? Are you pronouncing Soseki? Or are you pronouncing Kraid guilty? Because we proved, last night that he's a serial killer. I'm just saying. Oh! Yes, that's it! Guilty of all charges. It's that old woman. Kraid's very guilty. Yeah. I mean, if things are going the way I'm thinking, technically there's only one person who should actually be guilty of the charge of a crime scene. Reasons will be if everything goes the way I'm thinking is. Which I'm pretty sure Justin is staying silent. Paragon Greninja is staying silent because he doesn't want to say anything I'm talking about right now. That's the bouquet Rolly brought me for our anniversary with all bits of change that he found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose?
Tell us, Lord Redsize, where did you come by the flower?
According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge pavement in front of the Gyaradev household. In front of the Gyaradeves? It's Fanto. Yeah, I'll put up it against Fanto. Although it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay there where the street lamp cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the gate since it was found on the opposite side of the thoroughfare. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Could I have it back now, please?
No, I think it, for good measure, as well, should be added to the court record as evidence.
Aww. Anniversary bouquet has been entered into the court record. But it's our symbol of our love. I want it back after the child. Do you hear me? I want it back.
Good grief, rest assured. I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. B.
She's choking him. Okay, so we pressed out everything. Now we have to figure out which one that we present the evidence on. Now I'm just trying to figure out what was the thing. It's not a contradiction. All right. I need to think about this. This is actually because everything from this case was straightforward, but now this is the actual part where I actually have to think about it now. The lights of the payment was dark. Could she really have seen anything? Yeah, so this is warrant card is going to be used to prove about the last part, I'm pretty sure. This anniversary bouquet. Actually, I'm going to have to examine it. Nice thing. Do love your cakes. Ha. Gosh. Let's see. There's nothing about this rose I can check. I don't think I can check anything. So,
Hold it!
So it wouldn't be the dropping of a knife. Oh, the bouquet has to be something. Or is it not yet? Crime photos again? Yeah. So this is the first one that we see the 3 books and the person was stabbed. I don't see anything in this one, but if we go to the next one, there's nothing in this crime photo as well. At least I'm not seeing anything. Let me go back to the statement to see. This case has nothing to do with Gyarados. Alright, that's not the important one. Top hinge forge was so it had to basically, if they were thrown, they would have to fall down directly, which the crime scene was not. It was on the other side of the road. If stone on a window, she did say that they would have clearly seen something in the air if it was, but it was clear as night. So I can't really say this proves the sense of a theory, because they did see things clear as day. So it has to be... I wouldn't say this one either, because it doesn't prove that he took his eyes off the crime scene. So it has to be one of these two. It sure is odd that the rose was on Raleigh's side of the road, where anything that was thrown out the window would have landed. Now, it is one of those things that that's what I'm getting at too, Emoto. But the problem is, how do I continue this? Because I already pressed every single statement. I have all the evidence now to really continue this. But I'm just like, what statement do I present that evidence with? And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Because I got the... Because, like, here's the thinking. So, what we are showing now, showcasing that, in this entire thing, that the crime scene was on the east side of Briar Road, which is just out of, excuse me, Raleigh's, beat. So that means that it's not under his jurisdiction. He didn't really have to help out, but he was helping out afterwards because they're overstaffed. Not overstaffed, they understaffed. They are overworked. And that's what all the crime scenes, the books, the burnt book, everything. But the problem is, then we now found out that it's true, confirmed that there's a rose on the other side of the Briar Road, which is on his beat. Which is where the things would have landed, where they found her bouquet. And that's where it's like, why does that, I'm trying to prove something, that there's some kind of inconsistency there. Something that can use with the bouquet and the memoir that we just got. The memoir doesn't help right now because it just shows that he's been doing his job. He did his job. Because it wasn't in his beat. He wasn't obligated to help, but he did help a little bit. The bouquet, on the other hand, doesn't prove anything. Unless one of these statements does showcase. I know she said she was shocked. I'm thinking of just showing the bouquet here, because it shows that she dropped it when ended up losing it when she was shocked when she saw the crime happen. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to think, is that the bouquet of flowers is, this is the statement I presented on. It's weird that the rose was on the wrong side of the road. Oopsie. I did the wrong thing. That's what I'm trying to think it is. Let me try this one, because I think this, to progress it, it has to be through this. Oh, wrong button.
Objection.
Music didn't change. The music doesn't change. The classic Ace Attorney thing is like, when the music doesn't change, you did something wrong. Hardy har har. Oh.
Hold it.
trying to prove that statement. I'm missing something here. I am definitely missing something right here. No, I get what you're trying to say, Emoto. You and I are on the same wavelength on it. It's just the problem is where do I continue to get to where we're trying to stand? That's the problem. Is like I'm trying to figure out what puzzle piece to fit to continue on to the right track, basically. Track piece to continue on. Like I see the whole picture now. Okay, so it was like that one where he said nothing was disturbed. Is that? Yeah, I was thinking like also the last one because the rose bouquet would make the most sense with anything. And it was one of the last three statements that I didn't say the last one didn't make much sense, but after looking at it, saying nothing disturbed, it was one of those things. Yeah, nothing was disturbed. It was one of these three. Yeah, so I'll try to rose again on this one. I pressed the wrong button again.
Objection.
That's not it. Clearly, I'm missing something. It's the puzzle piece. What puzzle piece am I missing? Wait, let me look at this. This is believed to nothing to do with the Gyarados, which is fine. It's the windows, the top floor Gyarados was open hinges, which is fine. It doesn't prove anything. Yes, we know what this is gonna be, but it doesn't prove anything. Quaggy, where's Quaggy? Do you want to say you want pet Carl? So this one doesn't do anything. Obviously thrown out, which they already said is Skylight, which doesn't prove anything either. I'm really thinking it's one of these last three statements. It's like, I go fetch help, but the trusty Raleigh doesn't do anything to disturb anything, which in the long run doesn't really, there's nothing inconsistent. No Quaggy. Oh, Quaggy is Emoto. Oh, you want to pet Emoto. I mean, you can pet her right now. She's watching. Oh, what was that? Dropping my bouquet. So she dropped it, which is... Yeah, I don't see the crime scene to have any roses.
Hold it.
It might be the last statement that I have to do, because that's the one that's not sitting right with nothing else happening. That's what I'm thinking. The last statement is probably the most inconsistent one. He didn't take off the crime scene.
Objection.
Okay, so it was that. Okay, so it was the last statement. That's what we're trying to consider. So it was the bouquet. I just picked the last statement I was thinking. Okay. You claim Constable Beat there was nothing to report in 15 or so minutes you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be. What? Maybe it's the nothing was removed. Yeah, it maybe was it like here's my thinking, Emoto. The reason why I was thinking like also that is because he said nothing was strange, nothing was disturbed. What was the statement again? I didn't take off it. Nothing strange on the front. Yeah, nothing was strange. And the problem is that the bouquet was confirmed dropped by his wife on where she stood. Which would mean one thing is that for some odd reason, she was on the other side of the street where she dropped it when she saw the crime was doing it, which wouldn't make any sense. They were confirmed to be together. That's what the strange part of it. So he did. The fact that he didn't mention of that bouquet is the thing that did not make any sense of this whole statement. What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beats, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime that with a policeman assigned to the beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of Briar Road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of the meager bouquet, if a single sorry bloom can be so described, no doubt it was blown in the wind across the street back into the gutter where it belongs. Meager?
Objection.
But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beat swore to that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It has nothing to do with the case. That's why Rolly didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, it's because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case mysteriously the wrong way around. What are you talking about? Thinking about it. Besides Mrs. Beat's bouquet, there's Mr. Gerardep's book. Mr. Gerardep's copy of the Lions Prize, which was thrown out the window by his wife, would have struck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road and the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beat's bouquet should have been dropped here on the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Gerardep's house. There's a logical explanation for those things, unless somebody deliberately moved them. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like my Rolly done something wrong. Don't you listen? Don't you listen to that scrawny lawyer says? Whittling about books and bouquets. Why should we care?
You want some popcorn?
It's nitpicking, that's what it is.
Okay.
Oh good, Mrs. Gerardep's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Gerardep. But deliberately meddling with the scene of a crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Naruto. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very subtle but compelling reason.
Objection!
Tampering. You barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime of the evening. All the evidence, all the testimony points to that one particular person.
Counsel, I must demand your conjecture. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering crime scene?
It was Soseki-san! He was him all along. Dun dun dun. It's the defendant I'm defending. Look at my defendant. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Rolly Beat, it was you.
What? The policeman? A member of Scotland Yard?
Nonsense. Why would my Rolly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No Bobby works more tirelessly than the people of London. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to the nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making up. It's all nonsense. It's a lot of lies. What about that Japanese with whisker, man with whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it. If it were true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Oh. And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well.
Objection!
First, you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you increment a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing. You claim that the crime scene was tampered with, but there is only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime: to hide something. That's right, he's right. My husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. Well, why would he have anything to hide? It doesn't make any sense. You've offered no motive for his alleged tampering, and until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. Oh, have you managed to solve this mystery? I did. With the power of insight.
Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not to point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive of its alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord. Constable Beat's motive for tampering the crime scene was to hide where the bouquet fell to the ground. That's what he had to cover up at all costs. And why exactly? Well, of course the reason is, do you have something to hide, my learned friend? Or it seems you're unwilling to share the reason with the court. Oh, that was the wrong one? I was wrong on that one. Well, then again, it didn't make much sense. Where the victim fell. Yeah, I wanted to try the bouquet. Where the victim fell to the ground. At least I wanted to do the flower, okay? I'm sorry, Emoto. That is what his Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? The victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you on about? Talk about? We told you at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of Barrow, we saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What?
I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, counsel.
If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Well, are you proposing the crime actually took place in the evening? Right over here.
But that's...
The opposite side of the road. understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Geradev's book fell directly down from the open window above, and your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious!
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was a typical London fog on the ground when you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid. That was actually the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted this crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of the Briar Road.
Extraordinary.
But the constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook? The bouquet, I presume. Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago that the discovery of the rose bouquet, Lord Von Zeyck said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes. Couldn't have been seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in the original position on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Rowley Beat. Well, I'm very sorry. Didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in the morning. Did I miss anything important? Oh, Raleigh, it isn't true, is it? What the lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding righteous man I know. I had a dream, a terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out, everything exposed. Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all.
Good golly! Order! What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Raleigh, why did you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? Wishing the victim dead should be one too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why did you do this? As a respectable member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect good people of London town.
I can't say, sir.
What?
I really am very sorry about all this for damaging your reputation for everything. I have a possible explanation for why on the particular evening Constable Beat felt compelled to move to the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason. What? How could you possibly know? Are you a foreigner presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman?
And yet Lord Van Zeyck says it is a foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel of the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, I think you better show us some evidence.
At once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. And I think a fairly good idea of the feelings behind the man's actions.
What gives away the most conceivable unthinkable actions?
I think it's either one of these, to be honest.
Take that!
I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that Though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping with the beast, looking after citizens on this beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly.
But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special.
Special? How?
On account of his bouquet, my lord.
Oh, yes. It was our very first wedding anniversary.
Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog, collapse on the pavement ahead of them, what must have gone through the man's mind?
But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat put up with a lot. Being married to a Bobby like me, I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care.
This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist the initial investigations and help detective.
Aha!
Constable Beat. Is that or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day?
Yes. Everything you said, it's alright.
So that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat.
Oh.
Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat.
Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done?
It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigation and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why?
You can blame the maid.
It's a couple's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then when I opened my mouth to speak. It just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it, turn right along Meerschachten Street, and then...
Oh, Susato's about to cry. Here we go. Got a fly in my room. Oh, he's crying.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted that one night to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, really? Just that one night?
You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction, just across the street to the east pavement of Briarwood, which falls under the neighboring beat's care. I pity him, because I still blame the maid. It's all her fault. She literally misunderstood a situation and caused this man pain. It's literally all the maid's fault.
You see, I thought... Well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
Beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Raleigh would have never left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
Never trust the maid with a knife, basically. Param taught me that. I haven't played that one. I only played, as of right now, fully Radiant Dawn. No. Radiant Dawn? Path of Radiance. Yes, Path of Radiance. Radiant Dawn is a YouTube playthrough I'm going to be playing at some other point. But also, I need to play 3 houses. I tried the DLC courses. Nice, Luigi.
I see your meaning now.
But God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh, Raleigh, that was my fault.
Most of them were gold. Nice.
I should have never dropped it in such dark.
Now she's trying to protect him for doing the crime scene.
I'm sorry, Raleigh.
And can you tell us, Constable, not a fan of one of them. Well, when I actually try them, I'll see. You can talk about it. How many books did you move from one side of the road to the other in total?
Oh, 4 it was, yes, sir. Definitely 4.
3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsumi, and the 4th, being the one fell from the window upstairs in Gerardep's household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand? When all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean.
Oh, well, sir, because that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the crime scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand.
You sure it was the book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding?
Yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir.
Interesting. The 4th book information has been updated to court record. We're not just done yet, because we still have one mystery with the knife being stabbed.
I thought it was just an open and shut case at the time. You see, there was only 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw what it happened. However, which way you look at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it, I thought. Couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
My lord.
Yes, Lord Van Sykes.
I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Raleigh? What will happen to him?
For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pratt. Let's go home. I'm tired. Alright then, my love.
One last thing, Constable.
Yeah, sir?
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigating, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Yes, sir.
Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
Never again, sir? You mean to say?
Leave now. This trial is not yet over.
Sir!
At least Zykes can at least be reasonable.
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. However, I thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of crime like that.
Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here, principally that they accuse Mr. Soseki Natsume is the only person who could have possibly committed this crime.
Objection.
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Lord Van Sykes, is this true?
Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing.
You're named the other person I'm responsible for the crime.
Oh, it is obviously this guy again. Of course not. Who else? The person that we tried to call earlier. The defense would once again like to request conversation of new witness, my lord.
Once again,
The assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case, it's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Miss Joanne Gerardeb.
Me? It's the dearie me.
That request has already been denied. But the situation is very different now. Miss Gerardeb, answer me this.
What do you want now, you little toad?
At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Gerardeb. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited, and to clear the smoke in the room, your husband opened a window that looks over the Briar Road.
What of it?
You threw the book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane of the open top-hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we now know is to be the true scene of the incident.
Yes, as I said, what of it?
During argument, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Gerardeb. This knife, the one removed from the victim's back, have you really never laid eyes on it before?
I don't recall it.
Seriously?
Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there in all the regalia said member of the jury didn't testify, didn't he?
Conveniently, yes.
Objection.
No, I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 4.
Oh!
Make no mistake, your jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madame, let the truth come out.
But just couldn't have. It could have been come from anywhere. We've had several like that at home. If one went missing, now what you would expect me to know?
What's that?
are you joking? What are you saying? Please, Mrs. Gerardeb.
She is clearly trying to hide things.
Now
No,
listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I injured someone. Do you hear? I couldn't bear it.
oh, that poor woman.
So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence if you're going to insist that this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife, if that's what you think. Come along now. Chop chop.
I didn't read that last part.
Do your worst.
Well, Mr. Naruto, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would thrown it at her already. Then take the stand, juror.
Oh.
The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to the cross-examination. Did you object before? Thank you, Lord Van Sykes.
I'm going to have to testify.
Juror number 4, as I am sure you will appreciate, having observed with your own eyes just today, the witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truth being unearthed, truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware.
Oh, dearie me.
So I demand your full, unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Garrett.
Ooh, unadulterated.
And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, counsels?
Certainly, my lord. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for, my lord. She is back to the corner. Seriously. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. Looks like we're about to finish this case up with this last cross-examination. Oh, she has tea. Witness, state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes. My name is Joanne Keredeb, and I'm, well, I am a juror and such like.
It sounds like she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid or what anymore.
The court has decided the testimony is required to order clarified matters in this case. Do you understand, madame?
Oh, yes, my lord.
You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me.
Chin up, Joanne. I can't. Nothing to worry about now.
Where did he come from?
Oh, I didn't know you were here, John.
How did he get here?
I wasn't only you in the room that day, old thing, was it? Rather, I thought I ought to testify as well, don't you?
What happened what about you need here?
Don't you worry about that. Hardly noticed it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone.
Oh, John.
That's true, John. John Garrett.
Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment of the 4th Northumberland Fusiliers, sir. God dang it.
Seeing my fair share of action now and living quite a quiet life, as it were.
The quiet life. Were you not engaged in incendiary battle with your spouse on the day of question?
Well, yes. Quite.
Still, it's not the husband's fault. It's all straight up the maid.
I believe the first may represent the first in a proud history of British court. Calling a juror to a witness stand is unprecedented. However, the court will now hear your testimony, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You are recounting clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question.
Sir, yes, sir. At once. Witness's testimony. Let's see. The Battle of Geradep.
Yes, on the day you're referring to, the wife and I did a bit of a skirmish. Can't recall the reason now. Knocked a candlestick over, set the fire to the carpet, soon had it out, though, and it got the window open.
Meanwhile, I was picking up whatever I could find thrown at him.
Plenty of knives thrown around the place. Can't say I'd noticed if 1 or 2 went missing, I'm afraid. If that bally thing, the night's victim, really was one of ours, you've got to have a job proving it, then.
Here we go.
Sounds like as though it was quite a battlefield hustle this evening.
Although an entirely one-sided result, it seems.
The enemy caught us on hop, sir. Had no choice but to dig and take defensive measures. To be honest, if the enemy had kept shelling us for another minute, we'd have been toast. Of course, a veteran such as myself is only too aware of that on every battlefield you're just a gnat's whisker from death at any moment.
She threw multiple knives. It sounds like. Clearly, he was about to die. Are we still talking about the martial quarrel here?
Well, I must say I'm dubious. I'm dubious that this testimony will shed any light on the origins of this jackknife.
In combat, one's focus narrows such that surroundings are barely noticed. These witnesses may not be able to offer anything more than they testify. Right, this may be a dead end. Ben Sykes might be right. Well, whatever the chances, we only have the last cross-section to uncover the truth now, Hodo. Yes, I'm afraid so. So basically, I have to present the right evidence, otherwise this thing is done. I only got 2 chances as well, too. I wasted one of my chances with a random one and Emoto called me out. Ah. Let's see. Is there anything on this knife as an engraving or anything? Oh, outside, nothing. I feel like I think I know what will prove his knife. Well, in the meantime, no tip call. Yeah, because like I think that is the tip of that proves that it's his knife is because it's his knife. Oh man, he crushed his pipe. Oh boy. The tip is chipped. Yeah, that's what I think is like that would make sense as in actually his knife. If you can prove that the chipped tip is his knife, then we got this in the bag. She threw a freaking bathtub in that? I'm just imagining that just like a comically relief like cartoon at that point. What in the ye olden times? Okay, so you were able to douse the water. Yep. You couldn't use tea. This Susato takedown. God, that kept you being used in like the second case. I'm no monster.
By Jupiter!
Really soft items? Ha. Ha. Ha 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 ha. No. You threw a freaking book. The book is not soft. Well, if it's like the like, what is the softest book? I guess like it's I guess like it would be like a paper book, a small paper book. I do have a Halo book that's like that. Wouldn't be that hard. But the freaking is a hard cover. And it was on fire. That is not a soft thing, woman. It could be a softer cover, Burke. What is it made out of? Sheep?
Objection!
Now you're working with me. such wizardry exists. Yeah, it's the tip that specifically is gonna be tipping us off. A. Because we got no tip for this. You called it yesterday for fingerprint. Yeah, because like the thing is, Luigi, it was already talked about like earlier in this game. The fact of the matter is that it's such a rare thing though. Because like the only person that has proven to showcase it was Herlock Holmes. Herlock Sholmes. Herlock Jones. Herlock Sholmes. Sherlock Jones. Herlock Burlock. Sherlock. Sherlock. What are the names I can name with Herlock? Gerlock? Gerlock? Frickin' garlic!
By Jupiter. Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, sir? Mr. Gerardep,
Don't short. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind?
Oh, nothing of the significance. No. Just a barrage of projectiles, old thing launched in my direction. It's just somewhat more solid than she applies bricks in the fire poker, I seem to recall.
A fire poker? Jesus.
And that woman's aim is uncanny.
Also, she's pouring tea into his, like, pipe.
Good grief, woman, we're not at home right now. This is a court of law.
Oh, dearie me. Ever so sorry, dear. What she's even doing with a teapot here? Honestly, John, I would never have thrown such things at you, obviously.
Well, take a look at this then. How do you suppose
What happened, Your pipe, sir.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time until the slot. Knocked it clean out with one of her soft projectiles. She did, yes. And wherever I went to pick it up, it was broken in two. I'd like to see a sponge do that sort of damage.
I see. So your pipe was broken.
It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Anyway, I managed to bandage up the thing for now.
Huh. You're the one who's exaggerating, aren't you, dear? Jeez, such in denial. I wonder what can make this account. It has to be important. The defense believes it is significant.
Objection.
Betray fiery wife and the pipes, as well as hearts may be broken. Indeed, common sense, one might say. Might one? In that case, would you please permit us to examine the pipe, sir?
Well, if you see right now.
Oh. Dear me, there you go again, trying to ingratiate. Yeah, I don't even know that word. Skip it. Well, we have the gentleman's pipe as evidence, which means that we probably have something to do this. I feel rather disappointed that you read quest turned down. No, it's fine. Thanks to Satsusan, we have the new evidence. We should examine it carefully. So, the fact of the matter is, I think if theory proves right, we might have our evidence that proves why this pipe, like why there's a tip gone. Hey! He was smoking? With the freaking tip in there without noticing it? Well,
Objection.
Mr. Garadeb, could I ask you to take a good look at this, please?
Can I ask? I can't see that a ball of thin.
You can't.
Used to call me Dead-Eye Dab back in the regiment, of course, but that was some time ago. Now, even though I'm afraid trying to enjoy a large print book by fire these days. I struggle to tell a B from a D and a P from a Q, to be honest.
Isn't that dyslexia? Or what's the word that's hard reading? Isn't it dyslexia?
Dyslexia is when you mix up letters.
Yeah, isn't that dyslexia? Well,
Yeah.
technically speaking, he has a hard time reading, so I guess that's not really dyslexia, but he sounds like he's dyslexic. Also, no, wait, that's not Justin. Carl! Why are you being angry? So I am right. Hey. Speaking of Skull, there's Carl. By the way, Kraid, apparently being eaten. Yeah, you are being eaten because Kraid was eating a salad and, you know, salad equals lettuce, you know? Oh, he does. Dearie me. It's rather worrying being asked about every other letter in every other word. I think he is dyslexic, honestly. You must very doesy. What the frick do you want to say like that? What is that? A tiny scrap of metal? Yes, almost certainly from a tip of a blade. Kraid was having gross celebi. Not roasted, unless he wanted, unless he was cooking lettuce like that chef in Kitchen Nightmares. And what may appear to be a first that your tiny scrap metal is in fact a crucial piece of evidence. Blah blah blah. Interesting. And where did the defense come by this evidence? It was lodged in the chamber of Mr. Gerard's pipe.
My pipe, you say? My Jove! I wonder how it got in there. And what precisely does this fragment of metal signify, Counsel? Are you suggesting that it's somewhere related to the matter of stabbing in Briar Road?
I am. What? What? We're almost at the end, by the way, Carl, of this case 4. When put together with another piece of evidence already in the court record, I believe that this tiny fragment of metal will unravel the whole truth of this case, my lord. Okay. Oh, I just noticed his bum was gone. I just noticed that his bum is completely burnt.
You appear rather confident and extraordinary. Statement, Counsel. Very well then. Present the pertinent evidence to the court. What evidence is prepared fragment?
Look at my armband. Clearly, this armband is the evidence to the... Oh, hey, that's Japanese. Hey, Carl, what does this Japanese say? Kazuma Asogi. Okay, thanks, Carl. Thank you for letting me know what that says.
Take that!
This is the knife that was found in the victim's back. If you look closely, you'll see that there's a small piece of the tip blade that is missing. A common issue with inferior blades sold at unsavory street markets. Criminals who use them regularly leave tips lodged in their victims' bones.
And what of this particular knife?
No doubt its tip has suffered a similar fate, now languished somewhere near the spine of the victim.
Objection.
No, that's not the case. The tip of this particular knife's blade is the very fragment of the metal we just discovered in the chamber of Mr. Gerard's pipe.
Good grief, Lord Van Sykes.
I don't believe it. The knife from the crime scene and this fragment of metal are a perfect match.
Good golly,
Gosh, his bum is gone. I'm sorry, I can't stop staring at his bum.
Order, order! Take 2 number 9s. A number 9 large. Extra salad with extra dip. And a large onion. Hold the mayo.
This is such a weird order I just made.
Is this some sort of extra sorcery?
This is no magic, my lord. This is a miracle.
A miracle?
So Van Zykes has figured it out, has he?
Council, spare this extraordinary crisis at once.
Yes, my lord. Crucial point we have to ask ourselves here is when did the fragment of metal find its way inside Mr. Gyarados' pipe? Something that was clarified for us in the most recent witness's testimony.
Had this thing in my hand as usual at the time of the onslaught. Knocked clean out with one of the soft projectiles she did, yes. It would never have been sent flying unless it was hit by something pretty solid. Oh, dearly me.
During the argument between these two that occurred just as the victim was on the pavement below, Mrs. Gyarados flung this knife at her husband. However, the knife missed Gyarados, instead striking the pipe in his hand at the time, which caused the tip to break off, of course.
Good lord!
Yes, and that is when the tiny tip of the blade found its way inside Mr. Gyarados' pipe.
What the chances of that are a million to 1?
And yet, there's no other credible explanation for how the tip ended up in your pipe. Then, after losing its tip, the knife ricocheted off the pipe and flew out the open window. In short, this knife, which fell from the window of the Gyarados' house, is the very same knife that struck the victim in the middle of the back on the street below. Gosh, oh dear, oh no! So she basically caused an accidental attempt of murder, and she also attempted to murder her own husband. She's literally caused so many crimes just because of her outburst of a misunderstanding. This is why people that you should really learn to control your emotions. A full body theory, I'll give you that. A complex bouquet of seemingly trivial points plausibly arranged to create an almost possible vintage. Allow me to toast my learned friend's characteristically Nipponese approach to bottling his argument. Sorry? But after all, it is just a theory. The bottle, I feel, is corked. Because you see, in theory, it's just a game theory. It's spoiled by an insurmountable inconsistency. An insurmountable what?
Lord Van Sykes, explain yourself. What is the inconsistency you claim to have identified?
Inconsistency of simplest nature, my lord. Victim was found with a knife planted in the middle of her back. Yes, in her... Ah! Why did she have to slap him? Now he got the face mark again. Also, that handprint... Which would be... Yeah, now that face hand slap is such a... Like, it's not even right. God, how did she do that? She basically slapped him like this. Like, that's such a weird angle. That's right, you silly man, little man. Oh, he's also disappeared.
Now, Joan, old thing, what are you getting so excited about?
Let's consider the basic facts of this case once more. The victim was walking on the pavement before being stabbed in the back and falling to the ground. If the knife that struck her had fallen from above, there is no possible way it could have planted itself into the victim's back. There is actually a possible way. There is one possible way. Quite right, you see. That's exactly If the knife fell from above, making out with strange angles. Do I need to make that as a command now? Let's start at the top of their head. They could have seen the book. See, the thing is, it was proven by Rolly that the book was in her hand. Which means there is one thing to confirm. She grabbed the book at some point.
No, it has a rather particular blunder.
If the theory has even one inconsistency, it cannot stand. Your theory was inconsistent, and yet it stood for a long time. Theory, my learn, is history. Stabbed while grabbing the book? Honestly, that's where we're going. We were so close. I could see the truth. I was so sure we were on the right track, but now the way blocked by just one simple inconsistency. Or in other words, we simply need to eliminate the one inconsistency. The theory was done. Susato, you mustn't worry, Mr. Naruto. You were just caught off guard, that's all. Your mind went blank. But if the path you were on is indeed correct, then a way will present itself. The key is this in the court record. I'm sure all information you need is there. It seems you have nothing to say, my Nipponese friend. Well, your silence speaks volumes. The tested acceptance of your theory is fatally flawed.
Objection.
He said objection while holding his head. It doesn't mean I was on the wrong track. It means that I need to sharpen my mind and dig deeper for the truth. It's a test. Yes. If the knife fell at the victim from above, there's no way it could have hit her in the middle of her back. Under normal circumstances, that is. What are you implying?
Counsel!
There is a piece of evidence in the courtroom that can explain this consistency. That can explain how the knife fell from above could have pierced the victim's back. We already have the answer.
Goodness! Utter madness. This is madness.
No! This is great bitten.
Counsel, present the evidence as which you speak.
This is the last inconsistency, the final piece of the puzzle. If I can successfully make this, the truth will be laid bare at last. This explains how the falling knife... Let's see. Which do I present? Yeah. I think it's either the picture or the book, honestly. This, the fourth book found at the crime scene, is the final piece of evidence that the defense will present.
The burnt book? Is that not Garrett's book?
Yes. And understand its significance, we have to consider how it came to be at the scene in the first place. The photographic print clearly shows the book in question, the victim holding it in her hand. But as we all know now, it was Rolly Constantable that put the book between her fingers like that.
Quite so. He is part of the wholesale transplanting the crime scene on the opposite side of the road.
That's true. However, as part of the testimony, Constable Beat made an extremely enlightening statement on that point. But what made you place that book on the victim's hand?
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it, sir. When we first ran over the scene, the victim was already holding the book, sir. So when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand, sir. I may have forgotten that it was in the other hand, sir. My bad, sir. She was left-handed, sir.
In other words, the victim had already picked up the book on her own volition. And clearly, that must have been before she suffered the knife wound.
Well, I would say so. We're not attacker with a knife. I'd imagine she have been doing much of that anything.
So the question becomes, why did the victim have that book in her hand?
By Jingo! I think I'm beginning to see what may have happened now.
Oh, dearie me.
We know that the book fell from the top floor of Gerardep household on the pavement below, at precisely the moment that the victim was walking past. Yes, at exactly that moment, the young woman was walking along the street in the light fog, when all of a sudden a book fell right in front of her.
The book I threw.
Yes, Mrs. Garadeb. And what do you think the woman did? And what would you do if you were walking along and suddenly a book landed in front of you on the pavement?
Well, I really can't imagine, but I suppose she might have reached down and picked up the book.
Book up. And yes, that is exactly what the woman in fact did. She picked up the book.
Oh heavens!
And when the woman reached down to pick the fallen book up, what position would her back have been in? That's right, facing the sky, completely. That's right, facing the sky, completely and utterly defenseless. Then, in the very next moment, while the woman was bent over picking up the book. It's a good thing she had a lot of thickness in her. Otherwise, she would have died. The knife object fell from the room above, the jackknife straight into the middle of her back. And at the same time, going by chance directly behind Mrs. Green, was the defendant, Mrs. Soseki Natsumi.
Well, I never.
It appeared to Natsumi that the woman simply collapsed on the floor. In the dark of the fog, he didn't see the knife falling on her from above. And from the other direction, the constable and his wife saw nothing but the victim and her apparent attacker.
So there was never ever was a real culprit to run from the scene in the first place.
No, this was nothing more than a series of unlikely events that culminated in an unfortunate accident, all stemming from the maid, who clearly should be at fault for this. And that is the real truth behind the case. You know, I'm joking mostly that she's at fault for this, but she did clearly start this entire thing. If she just didn't... She didn't, like, get agita by anything, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. And everyone's night would have been fine. Well, except Mr. Garadeb. Well, actually, no. Yeah, everyone's night would have been fine if she just didn't do a lot. Because basically, she misinterpreted his night, which basically ruined his book collection. I hit my mic. He ruined his book collection, almost threatened his life, and had to open up because of the smoke. And he also got hurt. So he basically had his life threatening. Soseki was, it was that woman, Olive Green, who happened to just get hit and also fall to collapse to the ground because she almost died. It was Soseki who got caught in this whole shebang because it was thought that he was the murderer because of the whole night, and the couple would have had their actual nice evening. Basically, this maid is all the cause of this, and if she didn't get angry, this whole thing would have not have happened. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb?
The very first time he showed me that knife, I had my suspicions. I wondered if perhaps it might have been something like that.
There, old bean.
Poor Mrs. Garadeb. Of course, I never meant for anything of that sort to happen, but it was all my fault, wasn't it?
He's angry.
I take full responsibility. I let my anger get the better of me. I threw that book, and I threw that knife as well. John, dear.
It's alright, I know.
I'm ever so sorry. Truly.
I'm sorry. Oh, she dropped the teapot. That's just some expensive Chinese. Chinese? No, China. Chinese. China pottery. Ooh, he has some strong bum. I can't stop staring at his bum. I'm sorry. Every time he goes behind him, I stare at his bum. He has a good roasted bun, is all. You were saying? I'm just saying.
Lord Van Zykes, so what's the news of Mrs. Gerardeb?
Maid did slap at weird angle.
She's been taken to infirmary. It would appear that today's event had left her essentially flushed with state. However, I believe she will recover in due course. There is no cause for concern. Yes.
Unbeknownst to themselves, they have caused what could have easily been a terrible tragedy. They all shall have to prepare themselves for the consequences of their actions.
The Mr. Gerardeb didn't do anything wrong. He just happened to get like something that was in a book. Come on.
There is some good news, however, my lord. I have just had word from the hospital that where the victim is being treated. Her condition is improving steadily, and the doctor believes she will regain consciousness soon. It's strange. We've been talking about the victim all this time. We never once met her. Wow, wonderful. The woman is out of danger, it seems. Yes, that is good news.
So, Mrs. Soseki Satsumi.
Yes.
On behalf of my fellow countrymen, I would like to take the opportunity to beg your pardon, sir. You came from a distant eastern homeland to study our Great Britain culture, and have repaid with immeasurable unkindness. Please accept our heartfelt apologies.
No, it's me who should be begging your pardon. Oh no, Mr. Natsume. That evening, when the one woman could just collapse the pavement before my eyes, I just jumped the wrong conclusion, getting my confusion.
What conclusion, sir?
I was sure that the woman was dead. Yes, Constable B said the same thing, didn't he? He thought she had been killed too. Suppose she must have looked completely lifeless. It's been a year since I've been to Great Britain now, and I still can't get used to life here. I can't relax, I see her. I'm sure there are evil spirits lurking in the fog, like they're haunting me. Poor Soseki-san. His imagination really has got the better of him. Yes, poor man. So when it happened, I thought the young woman had been taken by the fog spirits. I should have never dropped my books like that and run away. I should have called to help for a doctor for the police.
You should have given her mouth-to-mouth precipitation. Or whatever.
Reciprocation?
Reciprocation, resuscitation,
Yeah, resuscitation.
reciprocation. I don't know. Whatever is resuscitate. Whatever word. I always like to say resuscitation, whatever. I don't even know what that word means. CPR. Yep.
Instead, I've managed to create a rift in the relationship and trust between two empires. For that, I'm truly sorry.
Gotta give that precipitation. Oh, I like how John, like, the Mr. Gerardeb is now part of the juror.
Well, one could indeed say some sort of mischievous spirit has been working here, I think. One could that created a chain of unfortunate mishaps. We were befooled by the spirit that led to false conclusions. But thanks to Lord Van Zykes and our young lord here from the east, that chain has now been broken and the spirit exercised.
I feel like Van Zykes did a lot of, like, yeah, I don't know. Van Zykes kind of made it hard.
I heartily commend you both.
Oh.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, my lord. Concluding of the trial, must ask one last time the decisions regarding the defendant's culpability. Are you ready to present your findings to the court?
As the foreman of the jury, I can assure you,
that the juror fares a fair just conclusion.
I do declare the truth can be extremely cruel at times.
well, I didn't suspect the woman next to me, that's for sure.
Sitting in with old Bean whilst she's out of action, you know, but I know what her decision would be.
Does that mean I finally get out of here and start work? It's about time.
I'd say, I have a quirk of a story to tell considering when I get home, won't I?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in the jury, I hereby command your final decision. Mr. Foreman.
Not guilty.
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 Guilty.
Not guilty. That guy, that voice is not fit for that guy. Also, those fires flying into that pedestal is really lucky. Because if one of those falls into the wrong place, it could light the whole place on fire. I'm just saying.
Well, Mr. Soseki Natsume, I hereby pronounce you
Not guilty.
And finally, Mr. Natsume,
Oh, yes. Sir.
you are now free man once more. It is my hope that you'll continue further your education in British culture, and may you never again be brought before me.
Oh, yes, yes, of course. My whole life. I swear I'll never step foot in this courtroom again. I'm
Transported 2 tiers. I feel like that's going to be a lie.
Thank you, counsels. Court is adjourned.
I feel like he's either going to be in the next case or he's going to be in the second game. Again.
Oh, locum.
Wait, you mean me?
Of course.
Is there another Rokum here? Is there even one? Compared to the original Locum student, Mr. Naruto Esquire, your name has become rather short, has it? What's wrong with my usual using my actual name? Oh, at last. I'm free! I'm free! Joyful, joyous, jubilant, jubilation! Heady, hearty, happiness, hurrah! Oh, I'm pleased. Mr. Natsubi is delighted. Would it be just so hard just to say that then? Locum, you did it! You saved me from the brink! Well, what happened to the poor woman was in no way your fault after all. I'm just glad everyone can see that now. No, not that! Lovely, loyal, locum, loyal! Yes? I mean, as I said before, I just never got used to life here in Great Britain. Every time I look over my shoulder, I see foreigners. I see towering brick buildings. And from high up... Hmm?
What does this guy have against foreigners?
No. And from high up windows, I could see a big guy per se. And from high up windows, I looking down on me, laughing. Look at them, little hunchback. I was gonna say, looking at little.
Mm.
Oh well, actually, wait. I can have Carl just say it for me. There we go. Oh dear. I'm sure it's all in your head, Mr. Natsumi. Yeah, Carl, since you're not on the call, I can just have high school Carl do this for me. Carl will be swearing tonight. But today, your locum lore gave my gloom the boot. You stood firm behind my baronial bench before all those babbling British. You battled the bitter end, laying bare the baffling truth, and when I beheld the blinding fireworks among the beams of Bailey's roof, I bellowed. Blazing fine old footage, that old footage. That's actually, because straight up, that is the last, like, the only footage it's in is in the old my old hard drive, which is currently damaged. If theory is right and everything works out as a best case scenario, I could get that footage back, but it's gonna cost a lot of money. It's behind like a giant paywall of few grand, like at least. But finding the old footage so we can finally finish Mario Party 2 Let's Play of the BPSLPs is, I guess, best I can hope for. The footage is very low quality, but it is old footage from 10 years ago. So you can kind of say we got lucky here. And that footage will be released at some point. I have an idea when, but that stuff needs to be rescheduled with Carl and Sean because I got a plan for that. And with battling fireworks among the beams on the of the Bailey's roof right below, holding the best barrister overboard. Technically, you did it with the BPS of anniversary special. Yes, but that one we could have done longer as well. Probably gonna be scheduling a day with Carl, which Carl has to be free the entire day of a weekend in order to hang out. This has given me a wonderful anecdote to recount to my old friends back in Japan. An anecdote? Is that what's to become of all my hard work? Ah, yes, there you are, my dear fellows. I apologize for keeping you waiting. I rose late this morning. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, what a pleasure to see you. I see I'm not here. Not a moment too soon. A disaster was averted, I'm glad to say. Oh. The trial shall begin presently, Mr. Naruhodo, and I wish you the very best of luck. It's just finished. What? No! Then my haste was in vain. Arg! It's you, Herlock Sholmes! Oh, have we met, sir? This is Mr. Natsume, the man you had arrested, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, I see. I failed to recognize you at first. Our previous encounters have taken place in the gloom, either of your bleak lodgings or that prison cell. I simply couldn't place that carrier's face. In the light. Charming. This is all your fault, Herlock Sholmes! You're the reason I had to go through this terrible ordeal. I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. My apologies, sir, but I assure you, I had placed you now. You're the fellow who abandoned that poor lady and ran off, are you not? Had she been taken to the hospital more urgently, I feel perhaps she would have regained consciousness by now. Oh. But it was unavoidable, I'm sure. We are but human after all. Anyone would have been shaken by such an experience. I do feel very badly about how I behaved. Oof. Well, now never mind. Well, now then, what was it that you wanted to say to me, sir? Nothing. Priceless. Oh, I'm sorry, really, but that was quite priceless. Poor Soseki-san. Oof. Justin was right. Oof. Basically, Soseki-san internally was. And Herlock Sholmes was like,
Get fucked.
I got so many sound bites. I can just work with so many different things. It's great. Still, on the bright side, you had an extremely entertaining experience without paying a penny. Then became you son of a Goomba.
You son of a Goomba!
I had the triple tickets before, but I guess I didn't save that. And it would seem you were not even found guilty. But there is no bright side. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Natsume? Even after this, I'm still cursed. By spirits and now by the Reaper. Oh, Lord Van Zykes. I haven't forgotten, you know, that what facing a man in court means. Even if it's found not guilty, we're still doomed. It will be alright, Mr. Natsume. If the Reaper appears trying to make trouble, I will protect you. Hiya! Why the frick did you throw me? With the perfectly executed Susato takedown. Much as I like to turning my head a bit of warning might be nice next time, Miss Sato. Couldn't redeem it since it's unavailable. Should be available now. So, Mr. Natsume, what do you intend to do now? You mentioned something about recounting your experiences to your friends back in Japan. Have to reload for it to be available. Ah, yes, yes. I returned to home soon. Oh, it has already been years since I arrived in Great Britain. I visited the university libraries, bookshops. I've been honored with the tutelage of professors. I've learned so much of the wealth of literature here that the city it has shaped. And I've come to realize that it is my calling sail home to tell my fellow countrymen about it. That's very touching, Mr. Natsume. Or perhaps it's less veiled terms. You wish to withdraw halfway around the world. Escape the terror of the Reaper's curse. That's not it at all! The more I learn of the literature, the more this strange feeling claws at my insides. I feel compelling to return to my roots and attempt to pen a work of my own. Oh, I see. Work of literature by Soseki-san. Could be an interesting read. It's not like it ever happened. I wonder, I hope his readings become legendary. What about Miss Susato-san? Susato, yourself, and Mr. Naruhodo? Sorry, what about us? Will you return to Japan alongside with your mustached patriot? Why would we? A week has not yet passed since we arrived in London, and only now does it feel as though we finally found our feet. And you are accommodated in a hotel present, are you not? That's right, but we need to find lodgings before it bankrupts us. I've calculated we can only afford another 10 nights before our entire budget is exhausted. Well then, you could take my lodgings. Oh, the windowless room? Ah, but what it lacks is windows. It's more than makes up for it with floor and ceilings and walls. Great. And of course, I'd be happy to leave behind the accursed evil spirit. Oh my, an evil spirit? Oh yes. It tries to suffocate you while you sleep. It's an infallible wake-up call. You'll think about it, if that's alright. Perhaps I can offer a more welcome alternative. Would you consider taking lodgings with me? Really? Well, a vacancy has conveniently presented itself, though it is up in the attic, I might add. Are you sure it isn't just a storage loft? I spoke with the landlady this very morning on the matter of price, and Iris is cleaning the room as we speak. You must come at once. I presume you have no luggage to speak of. We get to sleep on top of Sherlock Sholmes' place. Words can be situated. Ha ha ha. I did that on purpose. Oh, it's just what an honor to be invited to take lodgings in the Great Detective's office's attic. I'm too overcome for words. So suggesting we look elsewhere is out then. Then it's settled. Iris will prepare a welcome dinner this evening. And you must come too, Mr. Natsume. I insist. I don't know what to say, but thank you. Yes. Wonderful. Then I'll go and complete the paperwork for the formal release. Mrs. Natsume, it shan't take long. Somebody's happy. Welcome. I knew you wouldn't let me down. I'm truly delighted to have met you here in London. Likewise, Mr. Natsume. It's been a privilege meeting you, sir. Too. It's a shame that we're going to have to say goodbye so soon. Well, I've come to realize I belong in Japan, but Locum, we'll meet again one day. In the courtroom again, I'm pretty sure. I'm probably gonna come back in the second game. Probably not so much help, but you protect my butt, will you? I assume? Locum? Yes, I'm sure. And hopefully by then, I'll be a successful lawyer. Hopefully by then, I'll be a successful author. I wonder how that turned out to be. I have to ask Kyle about that, to be honest. Well, my dear fellow, our carriage appears to have arrived. Shall we go, Mr. Naruto? Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I've little doubt Mr. Natsumi will be released in time for dinner. I've little doubt will be released in time for dinner this evening. What? And so, with I've little doubt Mr. Natsumi will be released in time for dinner this evening. What? I don't know. With Soseki-san's innocence successfully established, we rode with Sholmes to what was to become our new home in 221B Baker Street. And with that, concludes the case. But do we have a cutscene? No. Oh, it's the attic room. So this, it's a lot spacier. It's more spacious and has windows. This is our new office. This looks familiar. Our office? I rather like the sound of that. Me too. It's simply wonderful, isn't it? I hope you can see this, Kazuma. It's only a small step, but I'd like to think we're a little closer to your dream now. So, my dear fellows, do you like the place? Oh my god! Oh god, he's hot! Sholmes just like stripped down his jacket, now he is hotter. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, yes, thank you very much. It's a delightful room, Mr. Sholmes. I simply adore it. Good, I'm pleased to hear. Iris and I are delighted to welcome you. Oh no, he's hot. I mean, to be honest, he does look considerably hotter than he was in actual jacket form, to be honest. Should we do a Cole Squidward meme? I mean, if you can. I don't know, you have to ask like Digits B for that. Hope everyone's hungry.
I hope everyone's hungry. It's nearly time for dinner. We'll eat as soon as Mr. Natsumi arrives. We'll have a lot to celebrate. Others, you must let me help you out. Alright then, Susie. You can be in charge of the salad.
Oh, she's gonna cut up Carl.
Ah!
And me.
Get fucked.
There we go. Kraid's gonna be eating that salad bowl. So, Mr. Naruto, how does it feel to have your own office in the capital? It's very exciting, actually. I can't help wondering what adventures await us. Oh, those were precisely my sentiments when I first established my office at this premises. Until I discovered the dark truth about the city of London, that is. Sorry? London is a glorious place full of wonder, opportunity, prosperity, and mirth. But the brightest of lights cast the darkest of shadows. Shadows? What do you mean? Well, I believe you're well aware of the murkiness that lies behind London's facade already. So once again, Mr. Naruto. Wow, okay. That's a big raid. Hey, Andre, what's up? Bang. Dude, how was Adrenal League? Was it number 8? Was it number 8 this month? Dude, how was it? Hope you're having a good stream. I'm doing. It was fun. Nice, nice. We just finished the case of Great Ace Attorney, and where we're going into like a different game soon after I'm done with reading the dialogue. Yeah, I'm glad it was fun. Who won? Please tell me. Did Max join in the fun? Or did like Dovo win, or who won? Who won? Yeah, who won? Spoil me, please. Dovo won. Of course Dovo wins. Dovo wins everything. Doesn't even have to try. Dovo would just be like sitting there, controller in the hand, and just be like straight up just like beating everyone. Fuck. Ooh, nice. What should probably like watch some of that. Cause I like some good old competition melee fights. I watched some of your was watching a little bit, but I missed like a good chunk of it. I think I fell asleep for like a good chunk of the beginning, but I didn't get to watch too much at the end. Probably will get to look at that later on. But props. Congratulations on winning. This Adrenaline League was like really was a lot. You did like so much work. Also, I really like, Andre, by the way, the little character stats that you did on the sides. Those are really, really good. I like that. You're my emote Pokemon team. Why would you have a Celebi on your Pokemon team? Celebi is useless, Luigi. Welcome to London. Of course, at the time, I had no idea the significance of those words Mr. Sholmes so casually spoke, but it wasn't long before my turn came to lift the facade and see the true depth of the murk that lay behind it. Double battles, it's great, yeah. So I guess like, I don't know if Emoto is still watching, but I guess like, to answer like to what my brother mentioned, how this game is all about setting up for the second game, this really is feeling like this is a setup for the second game, because there's a lot of unanswered questions, and that since the fifth episode is going to be the last one, I don't think it's going to be yeah, it's going to be the last one. I don't think that this one is going to be finishing up all the tight loose ends, so it's going to be like unanswered questions to the second game, which means that yeah, that game recover Crossfire Mogos, right? Well, okay, so far out of all the cases that have been gone in this game so far, I don't know about you, Justin. Honestly, that fourth case was definitely the weakest out of all the cases that I played so far. Because the first case was the worst part about the first case for introduction. It was super long, but it did give some like due mystery to the idea of the Britain Empire and like Japanese. Like I did like the little correlation between it, and it was like a nice little actual intention and unanswered questions. The second case was a nice little deviation of like the actual court and actually just investigating around. It was long, but again, like the early cases was very, very long, 1, 2, and 3. But the second case was nice, a little differentiate, and it was nice to see like a resolve to Naruhodo. The third case, I definitely say the third case was definitely my favorite, pacing wise, as well as just like the end result left you so unsatisfied because of just how it was presented. That's what I like. This fourth case was basically the normal case of just like Ace Attorney, which didn't really add too much to the overall plot, but just add the ideas of there's a placement to the where you just have to resolve where they're living, kind of just like understand that there's a lot more to this court case than anything. So honestly, so far I have to say the fourth case is definitely the weakest out of everything, and it's definitely the least favorite to me. It just adds a little bit to the story, which is outside of like the trials themselves. Recover Quabzar and Imoga for Electro Ball and Earthquake Stretch. I mean, that could happen too. Anyway, with that said, wait, Neither Kingdom Hearts level 1 is starting. Oh fudge, another. Oh, what Kingdom Hearts level 1 is starting? I ain't doing that. I think Max did that a little bit ago, though. Was that Max who did it? Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, I played Kingdom Hearts 1 a long time ago. Will I play Kingdom Hearts 2? You know, I'm kind of considering it, but I'm also considering, like, should I play all the Kingdom Hearts game in chronological order? Well, if I did chronological order, I should have started with, like, Birth by Sleep. Is it Birth by Sleep? Yeah, Birth by Sleep. I think, like, in released games, I guess I was gonna say. And there's a lot of Kingdom Hearts games out there, especially since it's a mobile game that's technically part of the Kingdom Hearts lore, too. Be a proud mode. I can't do that. I like Kingdom Hearts, but I don't like it that much to warrant a, oh, I'm gonna go straight up all the way to, like, to beat it. I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. Alright, so I think I'm just gonna go with Chrono Trigger. I think it's getting pretty late for a lot of people. As much as, like, I thought I was gonna do some Mario Kart, it looks like it's just getting a little late for that. Another time. I definitely want to try the new Mario Kart courses at some point, but maybe another time is all. Probably gotta give more of a heads up to people if they want to try it. Also, Fanto, if Sunday is happening still, should we do some amount Among Us? Ooh. I don't know if Carl is awake now.